Hmm.
What what you looking what you looking at, plebes?
I need to solve this. This is case. I need to solve it.
Hmm. Well, what's the case about?
Okay, so you know how we live in the void.
Yes. Yes, I
I
definitely
don't know why
I
I'm
always
telling you
do.
that. So you know how the policy on the fridge says label your food.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I may have had a slice of pizza with my name on it, and I cannot find it.
Oh yeah, I kind of ate that. Sorry.
well, well,
Well,
now
that's
I
a
need to put my
mystery
mental energy
solved.
into something else. Let's look at the investigator subclass of Valda Spire of Secrets.
Yep. Again,
Approved or not?
yeah, proved or not. Woo. Anyway, again, Valda Spire Secrets. This whole series has not been sponsored. Uh, and yeah, so I will say this, please.
Yes.
I took a brief look at how mechanically the base class works. And it's an interesting idea. Well,
All right. So
our main thing's
we
intelligence.
got.
We have a full category of level ups stuff.
I note here it says ritual level.
Correct. So this is so remember how last time we had
Mm-hmm.
a spellcaster that was sole focused on cantrips?
Yeah.
This one is sole focused on ritual casting.
All right. Well, let's take a look then, huh?
So first off, D8 hit die.
I will say they do recommend intelligence.
Yep. And then dexterity
Dex.
or strength, and you get to pick a couple of rituals up there.
All right, but let's take a look. So we got hit points. We got hit dice, 1d8 per investigator level.
Light
The
armor.
usual standard. Light armor, simple. I'm gonna strength passes. Saving throws and skills, reasonable numbers. Equipment is this stuff.
Yep. We start off with expertise.
At first level, choose 2 of your skill picks, your proficiency bonus, double for any blah blah blah. At 6th level, you choose no 2 skills. So yeah, awesome. You obtain a grimoire brimming with magical rituals. Your most potent tools to defeat supernatural threats. At first level, you have a grimoire containing 4 first-level spells of your choice that have a ritual tag from any class of spell list. They don't even say list. You can cast spells that are in your grimoire except as rituals, unless you can't cast spells that are in your grimoire except as rituals unless you learned them by some other means. Oh, this is interesting. So what this is saying is, if you have a spell from the investigator class, and you have a level in a spellcaster class, let's say druids, you can't use spell slots to cast them still.
Correct, I believe.
Whenever you gain levels of class, you can add additional spells from the investigator spell list. At no cost. Which level combat investigator table shows the maximum spell level you can add to your grimoire. Additionally, whenever you find a revenge spell on your adventures, you can add to your grimoire if it isn't on the investigator spell list and is of a level you can add to your grimoire for each level. Ross, I have a question.
What's up?
Is there even an investigator spell list? Because here it says it can be from any class's spell list. Here it specifies that it has to be on the investigator spell list.
Well, the investigator in this book does have a spell list, and I could get you a page in just one moment. If you need the page, that is.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so that means never mind, Ross. Okay, I get it. I'm not looking at spells right. I'm not reading the spell list.
Right.
What I am curious about. So first level, the first 4 rituals you pick have no limitations. They can be any 4 ritual spells.
Yep. But then
anything you pick afterwards has to be from the investigator spell list.
Correct.
I don't know how I feel about this. Okay, Ross.
Yes.
I am going to make a modification immediately to the class.
Okay, let me...
I need you to tell me if the later features are going to clash with this. Remove the investigator spell list requirement entirely. Is this something I am going to later regret doing?
I'm going to hold off on putting that in because, frankly, I don't properly know like there's a reason why I'm saying that because there's a feature later on that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that part that's a
Bonus.
question I don't know. Let's
Let's
have
take
that
a
on
look
the
at this.
let's have that on the burner right now.
Bonus rituals. As an investigator, you can treat specific spells as if they had the ritual tag, allowing you to add them to your grimoire and cast them as rituals.
Oh.
These spells are marked in the investigator's spell list.
Yeah, that's the one where before the D&D session today, I was like, okay, what is on the spell list?
Yeah, now give me the page of the spells, so I'm curious, but I will say, I don't think this clashes with my previous statement, but I will say an alteration. Obviously, the stuff on this list should still apply to this list.
Right. The starting of it is page 323.
Thank you. Alright, investigator spells. We got spells marked with an arcana as if they had the ritual tag.
So the ones
Detect
they make
evil,
ritual
good,
is
disguise self, heroism, arcane lock, curse ward. Yeah, no, these are crazy.
there's one that I think is a little crazy, but we won't get it early at the very least.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Let's get back
there's
to
more spells.
I'm sure there are. I'm telling you, I think they're fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't need to see much more. I wanted to get a vibe.
Okay.
Wait, wasn't this right? Did I got? Oh, it was 124, wasn't it? Wait, I got it wrong. Dang it.
104.
It was 104. Okay, thank you. All right, we're back. All right, so, yes, back to business. So, yes, this is good to know. Intelligence, you use your intelligence whenever you spell refers to your spellcasting ability. In addition, when you cast an investigator spell offered to you by a feature in this class, you can use it when setting the saving throws, if there is one. Alright. At second level, you are extremely at uncovering knowledge that pertains to Eldritch Threats and Forgotten Legends. You have advantage on intelligence checks related to searching creature spells and other ancient or secret lore. This is a Blood Hunter feature.
Yeah.
Beginning at second level, you can hastily perform any ritual spell in your grimoire that has a casting of 1 action or 1 bonus action, completing the ritual as a bonus action. If the spell requires material components with 100 DP or less, you can cast it without providing these components. You use feature number of times equal to your intelligence modifier, and you regain all spell use when you finish a long rest.
And it has a unique scaling that
As you gain higher levels, you can use this feature additional times. Wait. You can use this feature number of times equal to your intelligence. You can use this feature. You can use this feature additional times. You can use it once more at level 5th level, 9th level, and 13th level. That is.
Yeah, I've never.
You're right. That is a scaling.
I mean, it's nice that it scales. I've just never. It's unique. It's unique scaling. I don't have an issue
I
with
have
it.
thoughts, and I'm going to share them when we get to the end of this. Let's go.
Okay.
Subclass. 3rd, 6th, 10th, 14th.
Yep.
Meh.
Now this part was confused. Trinkets. Each subclass is gonna have their own trinket, so there isn't like a long table at the end of the subclass thing.
As you gain higher levels class, you can use your additional classes between blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Okay. ASI and feats.
Standard stuff.
Okay, here we go. We can scrap their arm. It allows them to be defeated. You can once on each turn when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, the target is treated as if it has a vulnerability to weapons damage. Vulnerability from this nature only doubles your weapons damage rolls and your ability modifiers. You don't double extra damage from force like spells, such as Hunter's Mark, magic items, such as the fire damage from feats or classes, features such as sneak attack. Additionally, the attack as well as other attacks must be made against next turn counts magical for the purpose of overcoming resistance on attacks made against her until the start of your next turn. That is strong.
It is, which is why they had to restrict it so heavily on what can actually be applied to this vulnerability.
But
Stop.
Oh.
Sorry, my dog's being an idiot.
It's fine. But
Void dog. Anyway,
I am realizing what we are giving up for this.
What the hell did she do?
We are giving up extra attack.
correct.
This feature is bad.
Bad isn't.
Eve, if you're going to talk with us, please mute Eve, because you're getting.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how she
you.
muted my computer.
All right, let's get back to what we're doing.
Bad
Yes,
isn't
this feature is.
Or bad is in, well, a bad feature.
Well, why don't you try and figure out? It's time for everyone's favorite game. Broken or shit.
Is this a case where we're looking at
Honestly, I will
Raw
tell you
versus
now. No raw, no commas.
the Raw? No commas. Good. Thank you for clarifying the commas. Anyway,
Yes.
so here's the thing, because there's a bunch of stuff I gotta consider.
Mhm.
So first off, vulnerability is strong. It is
Mhm.
absolutely strong. That is guaranteed double your damage. Heck, quadruple your damage if you crit. However, we also gotta keep in mind you don't get too many strong weapon proficiencies. I think the highest die of the ones up top, I think it's a D8 at most. Which is something you have to consider. But the fact that also it over any extra attack from a non-magical weapon basically counts as magical for, is it just the next attack or until the start of the
It is until the start of your next turn.
Okay. Which
All right.
that in a low magic item campaign would be very, very strong.
Interesting points.
But I also got to keep in mind, bringing up another class, the artificer can just give an ally a magical weapon.
Very good points. So, do you have a judgment to make yet? Is it broken or shit?
So I'll give my opinion, and then I'll say what I think yours is.
Okay.
I think with all the restrictions on it, and the fact that I think it helps the fact that this does not get extra attack. I think the feature is overall fine. This ability could have been if they did not, I would say outright banned personally, if they did not include stuff like the extra dice from Hunter's Mark or.
All right. Fair enough. What do you think my stance is?
This is hard.
That's the point.
We're getting this at what, level 5, I think it was?
Yes.
Level 5. You as a DM tend to give us, at least a couple players, the option of getting +1 weapons. Heck, we have one person with a +1 weapon right now, level 3.
Correct.
So the magical part isn't going to be as impactful, at the very least for your table. I gotta consider that weapon vulnerability is very strong.
Make your call, and I'll tell you if you're wrong or right.
I think you think it is.
Make your call, Ross.
I think your thought process is it is shit.
It is shit.
Okay.
Let's go over it. So first off, you hit the nail on the head with this additional thing right here. This should be stricken from the record, and we have already in this series gone over why. Do you remember, Ross?
I do not.
So, yes, the reason is, if a DM is going to be offering you, throwing enemies against you that are resistant to non-magical damage, then that DM should also be giving you means of doing the non-magical damage. Plain and simple.
Right.
Maybe not right away, but eventually.
Right, yeah, no, that is absolutely fair.
The only way this becomes useful is if the DM purposely designs encounters around it. Which I always think is bad. So, that is our first issue. Our second issue, and this is the important one.
That's valid.
What we're giving up to get this.
We're giving up extra attack.
We are giving up extra attack. I know what you're thinking. Why does that matter? It matters. So, alright, ready? Bear with me.
Yep.
On the surface, it sounds like we're doing about the same damage.
Yeah, like let's say let's say, for example, the weapon I'm using is a D8. I'm sure not all of them are D8s. Let's say I am, and
Yeah. Yeah.
let's say +3 to my modifier, and I
Mhm.
roll a 5. So that'd be
Yes.
16 damage because it's vulnerability.
Yes. On the surface, it sounds like you're doing about the same amount of damage
Right.
as extra attack. In reality, you are not. You are doing substantially less. And therein lies my issue.
And
So,
I do want to bring up something that is very smart on them for the careful wording. Even if you did get extra attack on this character, you can only do this once per turn.
correct. And I guess in that regard, that is such a commitment to get this on a character with extra attack. You have to take it 10 levels and at least a 5 level into this to get this. But no,
Right.
you were doing substantially less damage because the fact is, I have seen this with like people because there are people who play with that as a crit roll, and the damage tends to skew low. Now, this is like I said, I think this ability is shit, not because it's inherently bad, because I have to acknowledge what we're getting it instead of. We're getting it instead of stuff like extra attack and sneak attack.
Correct.
Now,
Which at this point would be 3d6?
But let's keep going. Maybe we got something that makes this worth it.
Yeah. Personally, I think the feature's fine, but that's absolutely fair.
Flow. You must then finish or long rest to use your opportunistic play. So you can cast some spells you can cast.
So banishment.
So when you use it, as banish, you cast the spell without spending spell that target is fair fiend or undead. It fails the same thing spell. It also takes radiant damage equal to your level.
Okay.
As an action, you heal. As an action, for the next minute, aberrations, or creature or hit.
12 radiant damage.
This is a good ability, but the fact that you can only use it once per.
How long does it last?
This is a thing you're doing. Oh, next minute. Warding is next minute.
Okay. I still think warding is gonna be much better if you're talking damage-wise.
I mean, as you know, we're not picking. We don't have to pick between these.
Oh, okay.
We have all of them.
I see.
But we have to use only one of them per short rest. This ability is actually pretty solid.
Yeah. Supernatural Resolve. You can't be possessed. Or
you can't be possessed or charmed. It had resistance to necrotic and psychic damage. That could be pretty strong potentially.
That's pretty solid.
11th level. You know exactly every monster once on each of your turns when you take the attack action and hit the creature with a weapon. You deal an extra 2d8 damage to the creature. If the creature has less than half its hit points remaining, you can still deal an extra 48 damage to the creature. That sucks.
It sucks with the thought process of... Now, it doesn't say anything about it, but here's my assumption.
Yeah.
Finisher would not work. Like, you wouldn't gain extra damage with the vulnerability. If I'm looking at how the extra information works. Unless it says something otherwise, which I don't believe it does.
You are correct. You are 100% correct.
It's still
a magical seeker can do welcoming opponent. You can cast one of the following spells once the spells. You can Mirage, Arcane, Plane Shift, Reversal Gravity, Sequester, or Teleport. Once you do so, you can. I think you can also cast one of the following spells: Magic Field, Glibness, Maze, or Mind Blank. Once you do so, you can't cast any of these spells in this way again until you finish the level. You can also cast one of the following spells. Oh my god, this is lame. Astral Protection Gate. Once you do so, you can't cast. Cast protection for evil and good spells. That's spells. By 10th level, you may just have come. You're with cast time of one action. You can cast these spells as a bonus action without spells, and you can do so without your grimoire on hand. If the spell requires materials, you can cast it without applying components. Here's where I stand, Ross. This subclass is bad. This class is bad. Because it runs. Okay, we're not looking at subclasses yet.
Yep.
But it runs into the same problems we've had thrice before. You are getting rid of spell casting fully. You are getting rid of spell slots, and you are getting rid of some really good damage as a marshal. And what they give you in return, let's be real. I mean, here, keep in mind this. Except for, until you reach 20th level, except for maybe how many times can you use where is it? Your ability.
Is it the one that
Rushing contagion. How many times can you use this? But here, yes. A limited number of times. So except for a limited number of times.
I was gonna say your screen share's frozen.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Here, stop watching, rewatch.
Yes, except for a limited number of times. The bulk of your spells that you're getting are going to be out of combat.
I will say though,
Mm-hmm.
there is one spell on that spell list. I didn't look at each and every single one, but there's one spell that caught my eye.
Which one's that?
They made fly into a ritual spell in this class,
That's fine.
which that could have some impact.
But you still can't use it during a fight.
Well, one of our things is we could use
I mean, again, my
As-
point
as
is,
an
except for those times that
Right.
you can.
right. That's true.
My point in this is that you're giving up a lot. Here, I will tell you my issue right now. There is very little variability in what this class can do. And you might argue, isn't the same for fighter or barbarian? True. But this is supposed to be somewhat a caster.
Yeah. This is a. Which,
Okay.
by the way, I want to bring up because we didn't really show it off that well. On the chart, this gets up to
goes up to
level,
6.
which
Yeah.
does that make it a 3/4 caster?
No,
doesn't
it's
matter.
not. It's more complicated. But let's take a
it's
look.
so weird.
We need the subclasses to save this. This is another class that needs subclasses to save it.
Right, and I want to bring up the fact that the idea of an investigator as a class is interesting for the fact of I did not expect it to know what it does, and I mean I like the fact that you're able to have advantage on
All right.
learning. Yeah.
All right, let's go because
So, let's
I
see.
need to know some stuff.
So
So
antiquarian.
we are antiquarian. So we added the identify spell to our grimoire.
Okay.
No material components, so we can just cast as much as we want.
Cool.
We have some trinkets.
Yeah, but each of these
You
I
can
believe
cast
we
the
could
Raven
use
People
once.
Scorching Ray spell once without using a spell slot or components. You can cast Blur or Mirror Image spell once targeting yourself. Targeting yourself only without using a spell slot or components. You can cast Cure Wounds or Inflict Wounds spell once without blah blah blah. This spell is cast as using the spell slot of the level shown on the ritual thing. 6th level, you secured a handful of priceless relics with a rare delicate tips. You can use one of the following relics once and regain the abilities to use which short lock. You can cast the fireball or lightning spell once without using a spell slot or components. You can cast a counter spell or spell magic spell once without using spell slots or. Ross, I'm noticing something here.
Yeah, I am too, and I'm getting scared.
You can cast the animate dead spell revivify once without using spell slots or spell components. At least it's once. Casting it doesn't use calls. All undead servants created by previous casting spells revert to lifeless corpses.
Okay. Okay.
Starting at 10th level, you maintain a vault of magic items secured in much space with your elaborate lock moon. When you finish a long rest, you can produce one of the items listed below, which remains in your possession until you use this feature to select a different item. The item is your choice of the following: a carpet of flying, a cloak with a bat, a flame tongue gauntlets, a vulgar power, an instant fortress, a ring of generation, a ring of blah blah, a sunblade, or a wand of wonder.
What is a wand of wonder?
I have theories here of how this thing works, and it's not a good sign. By 14th level, you've secured the crown jewel of your reflection, a Lich's Flaptree. Through the original owner's spells, spells, and source quests, it contains many of its unique properties. Magic item is always attuned to you and doesn't count against your total numbers. Blah 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 blah. You can cast False Life. You can use bonus action spend to use one of your trinket features as a reaction when you reduce 0 points but not color. You can drop to 1 point instead. Make a melee attack against a creature within your reach. On a hit, the target takes 5d6 in a card. You gain hit points when you use a card which is dealt. Oh, yeah, that was bad. That was so bad.
So we could use each. So just to reiterate how the trinket mechanic works, we could use each trinket once.
No.
Until. What?
Trinkets are more limited than that, sadly.
Oh, is it only? I thought it was like once each. Let's see.
You once you use one of your trinkets, you can't use any of them again until you finish a short or long rest.
Why? Okay, yeah, no, that does. Here's the thing: if it was honestly, I would not have a problem with just having it be each of these once.
That would actually be good.
Yeah, no, that would wow, that
But
is
yeah, basically, we are giving up a good martial and good spell casting to be able to cast spells
cast
basically never.
once per short rest spells, and only one of them scales from what it looks like. The
The healing one. Let's keep going.
yeah, wow.
Oh.
Approved about I honestly,
Without thought, I am worried.
yeah. After that one, I'm worried, and I think we're gonna need to make
Uh,
a base class change after that.
Archivists, the most investigators, blah blah blah. Sorry, when you choose a specialist at third level, you collected a powerful trinket. You get one. You can form a ritual spell with your rush. Okay, it's an extra use of your rush thing. Blah.
Cool.
You also
Thesis.
gain access to certain spells since we release. Pick one of the following subject areas for your thesis: Corpus, Ignis, and Mortis, or Region. You gain a list of such spells. Once you access spells, you can access to a spell that doesn't appear on the investigator spell. The spell is unless an investigator spell 4. You can use your action to spend the use of your rush to change, but you cast one of these.
Oh,
That is horrible. So, Ross.
so we get extra spells that we have to use our main feature to reduce a ritual spell for in order to cast them.
Correct. Yep.
Which is the thing. I'm just gonna take on the basis that fly might be the best third level ritual one that we could cast for this.
I don't know,
Which-
but that's not besides the point.
Right. So first one we have jump and long strider, ultra self and heat metal, gaseous worm and meltstone.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what these are, because the fact is, we're just eating into a resource that we don't have enough of in the first place.
Yeah.
When you cast a spell that forces you to make a saving throw to resist its effects, you're never doing this.
You can give one target.
Other spell
so
disadvantage on the
those-
first saving throw against the spell. Once you use a feature,
Oh my god.
you're never. I mean, I guess if you use some of these.
I think the one that I might do is hypnotic pad. Actually, that's not
But
even.
yeah.
Here's the thing.
Oh,
I'm
it's
looking
not
at
good.
these-
It's not good.
I'm looking at these spells and
Uh
I don't know which one of these I would want to use my only uses of this because it's so limited.
huh. Hit nail on head. Yeah, no, it's not good. Ugh.
Maybe 10th level will fix it. Maybe, probably not.
You can identify any arcane effects from memory. Whenever you witness a spell being cast, you can always identify the spell that was cast, the magic item responsible, or the monster which produced the effect. However, the ability fails to identify magic monsters that are utterly unique or otherwise not recorded in arcane texts. So this
What?
is
Wait,
you always know where something came from, unless the DM says you don't.
that is it sad that that might be worse than the Undying Warlock 10th level?
Let's keep going. 14th level, you can effortlessly duplicate spells you see in the world. You can copy any ritual spell you see being cast into your grimoire, but you could already kind of do that by my rules. Moreover, you can precisely copy the exact motions of a spell cast. When you see a spell at 5th level or lower being cast, you can use your action to spend one use of your rush and can't change it yourself without being a spell slot. Just uses this ability. You spell must have cast in one action and must have been cast within the last minute and must not have expensive material components. Once you spell, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. So wait. This is tied to a resource, and it's tied to another resource?
Yeah. Okay. Do you know what that subclass should have done? If you're gonna,
Just let you do it.
and frankly, this is just a thing in general. Unless there's abundance of the resource, yeah. If you're gonna tie it to another resource, have that subclass get extra usages of that resource to be able to use some of these cooler abilities.
And don't tie something to 2 resources. You don't need to do that.
Oh, is this tied to 2 resources? What's the other resource?
Correct.
Uh,
Yes. You can also only use it once per day.
Yeah. Why? Yeah.
It's a good thing they gave us a lot. We're not really going to get to use much of it. Approved without thought. Detective.
Yep, detective.
As a bonus action, cast Misty Step once. As a bonus action, cast Invisibility once, targeting yourself only. As a bonus action, cast Knock once.
do what's sad.
Mm-hmm.
Knock is a ritual spell for us. I'm gonna say this.
Mhm.
Let's bump up the. Let's at the very least, let's just say we could use each
Yeah.
trinket once per short rest.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
At least, because only once per short rest. That's like why?
I want to get over this. Okay. You can turn your skills with reaching events towards anticipating the next moment to fight. As a bonus action, you can examine the movement of a creature you can see within 30 feet of you. When you do so, you can choose to add 1d6 to your next attack roll targeting that creature before the start of your next turn. Or subtract 1d6 from the creature's next attack roll against you before the start of your next turn.
Okay, so this is our roll to hit.
Yes.
Oh, okay. It's okay. There's no resource attached. To it,
You
which
can
is
tell
fine.
if a creature that you can hear speaking is charmed, possessed, or otherwise enchanted to speak against its will. And you have advantage on any ability checks you make to determine if you hear a lie. This is actually pretty good.
That's pretty solid.
Well, you can use your action to examine the creature you see within 30 feet of you, noting emeralds and making a lengthy string of for the next minute. You have advantage on intelligence and grid checks you make to interact with the creature, and you have advantage on attack rolls against it. Once you use the feature, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. Why aren't wisdom checks? And therefore, what insight checks are usually in here?
Yeah, you're right, huh?
I will say, I'm going to give this one the stamp of approved, but barely approved.
Yeah,
As
I'm
in,
in
like,
the same
barely
boat.
without thought. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna
Keep
say.
going. Yeah. We get some
Exterminator
weapon proficiencies.
and medium armor.
This
Okay.
is our more martial focused one. I
Uh,
will say this right now, Ross.
Yes.
If this one gets, I'm not even looking at it. If this one gets a form of extra attack, it immediately pushes the class to viable because this subclass exists.
Well, let's see. So trinkets. Bonus
Third
action.
level, you cast the number of magical
weapon,
trinkets.
yeah.
Bonus action, cast magic weapon. Bonus action, gain resistance to a damage type of your choice.
That's pretty good.
When you do a weapon attack, you can use your bonus action to activate this trinket, dealing an extra 2d8 poison damage to the creature.
Ew.
Bonus action. I feel like this is something.
Okay.
Oh no.
They gave it ward. Okay. At the very least,
Yeah.
this is better than War Domains because it comes back on a short or long rest, and not just a long
You're right.
rest.
Still.
I agree with you. Still.
I think I know what my overall review of this class is going to be. But I'm not going to spoil it. Can't regain it once at the start of your next turn. Additionally, when you reduce creatures, was can't be not return by any means short of a wish spell for 7 days. Okay, you can use your equipment twice on your turn, but can't use it against the same target more than once.
That is
okay.
Here's the thing. I would say that's good, except here's our issue. We're at 14th level, and the only reason why I would want to mark 2 different creatures is to do the magic thing. Because here's the thing: we don't do a lot of damage, even with our extra 2d8. I think it was.
I draw that was kind of my issue.
So the fact that we get it at 14th level, I'm pretty sure every martial at the very least will have a +1 at this point.
Correct. Let's keep going though.
All
right,
Exterminator, what do we think?
Approve without thought.
Fair enough.
Enough doesn't have like what we need. When you choose specialization third level, you gain person with medium armor. The religion skill check, blah blah blah. Third level, we get some tokens. Bonus action, you can cast Lesser Restoration. Bonus action, you can utter a prayer, please volume of holy water. Okay. As a bonus action, you cast Detect Thoughts.
Okay.
You only detect thoughts that are associated with negative emotions such as guilt, apprehension, regret, and melancholy.
That is.
Once on each of your turns, you do a weapon attack, you deal an extra 1d6 radiant damage to the target. This is literally the Zealot Barbarian feature.
It's a pinch worse because it doesn't scale with your level.
Correct. Alright, level, your Command Master, Divine Magic seems among the. You can use your opportunistic feature 3 times, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a short or long rest.
What was Opportunist Pity again?
It was basically our weird banishment and stuff.
Okay. Cool.
As an action, you can impose a mark of religious condemnation on a creature. You can the thermal skill, wisdom, blah blah blah. Well marked creature can't regain hit points or have advantage or integral rolls. Ability checks addition whenever the creature takes an action. It takes 2d6 radiant damage on all of the mark burns. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish it. This is actually pretty strong.
This is pretty good.
But the capstone is all that I think is strong. I'm still there, approve without thought.
Yeah.
Okay, we got medium.
I would like a large. Sorry. I have to.
Starting,
Anyway.
you can receive when you finish a long rest. Roll 2d20. Bup. Yep.
Oh, once
I
per
know this.
turn. Action to
Uh,
expend one use of your
use
rush.
rush to make an additional foretold roll.
That
You can have up to 3 at a time.
okay.
Each foretold roll, when you finish a long rest, you lose. I mean, that's, I guess, a
Okay.
little better than just your regular divine wizard, diviner wizard,
Yeah.
divination wizard. That's the one.
Yeah, divination. But yeah, okay. You know what? That's a pretty solid. Oh, and we get more. Okay.
All right, I mean, we got our trinkets. Speak with dead. That was an action. Bonus action, see
Yay.
invisibility.
Okay.
Blink. Wait, not blink. Additionally, you can move through the. Go into the ethereal plane and do stuff that you want to do. The effect ends early after you take any damage. Don't return type creature or object. 6th level is priest that died in your hands when you would fault. You can reroll an attack roll, ability or saving throw you make, and you must use the new roll. You can choose to use this feature after you make a roll, blah blah blah. Short or long rest.
I mean, we have portent basically, so I guess once per short or long rest is fine. I don't like it.
10th level, as an action, you can open your perception to receive a hint from beyond the pit of the gym. Answer with a one-word hint pertaining to your best course of action, or some. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again.
Wait,
you the action allows you to see.
So we say a one.
So basically, you say, hey, I want to use this for the ground. I'm like, west.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this is useless.
And then bonus action to cast True Seeing without a spell slot. I mean, True Seeing is fine. But
that's the tips. Approved without thoughts. Hey Ross, can I borrow a quarter?
Yeah, sure.
Just need to cast this.
Oh, god damn it.
Okay,
I appreciate the pun. Alright, so first off, I was talking about the trinkets first,
trinkets.
So I think to read all
as
writing.
action, you have the trinket to gain the ability to read all writing for 1 hour. That's fine, I guess.
Okay.
Starting when you choose levels, your augment with combat magic. You can learn 2 cantrips of your choice from the Warlock spell list.
Oh.
10th level, the occult spoken just sometimes they have. They are also.
Oh.
Okay. So we have this is pack magic, working the way pack magic does.
I am scared because
Warlock spells higher you must spend spells like your hand. All ultimate spells when you finish a short or long rest.
The only other quartercaster we've had that uses pack slots was the Blood Hunter.
The spells known column of the occult spellcast table shows when you learn more warlocks, blah blah blah. The good news is it doesn't seem that we have to do any specific schools.
That's good. I think that restriction.
Intelligence is our ability. Starting at this level, you can use your magical cunning to rip your foes asunder. When you use your exploit weakness feature, you can forgo dealing additional damage to instead cast a cantrip as a bonus action. You just gave us
that.
It's meh.
It is.
It's meh.
It's meh. It has potential. I'll give it that. But overall,
Ross.
What?
It's time for Raw versus Rye.
Raw versus Rye. Oh no.
Yep.
Starting at 6th level, when you use your magical cunning to rip your foes asunder, that's all the flavor stuff. When you use your exploit weakness feature, which is our level 5 feature, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
You can forgo dealing extra damage. So, wait. So we're getting. Wait, is it rules?
This is getting rid of the vulnerability. To be clear.
Yeah, is it rules as written that counts as extra damage?
Well, they are saying the extra damage from the feature. Yes.
Okay.
Extra damage is a mechanic. To be clear.
Okay. So we move.
You don't need to worry about extra damage. Extra damage is not a mechanic in the game.
So we remove the extra damage in order to cast a cantrip as a
bonus action.
But hold on.
Yes.
We have access to the Okay, hear me out. So we have access to the Warlock spell list.
Okay.
Which means that we have access to. Let's go for one of the official ones. We have access to Booming Blade. What's stopping us from casting Booming Blade, which would in turn still would trigger this because it just. Actually,
I
do we have to hit? Like, does it specify like just a regular attack roll, or can it be like just hit with a melee weapon? Because I feel like the wording on that has to be.
I will tell you right now, the wording I'm looking for isn't the wording in the actual feature, but I will look for you.
Yeah.
So we're looking at exploit weakness. I believe it specifies, but I'll look down. When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, which means a roll, you have to roll.
Well, yeah. Booming Blade would still qualify.
Correct.
So yeah, what's stopping us from using that, forgoing the vulnerability, which wouldn't apply to our Booming Blade anyway?
Yeah.
And just using Booming Blade again.
Something. The answer is something. That might be what my rule versus Rye is about. Is that something?
Oh, so I'm on the right track. Okay.
Wrong one. Go down a bit more. Yep.
So
something is preventing that.
You can forgo additional. Oh, is it the fact that the cantrip technically does additional damage?
No.
Oh.
You're gonna facepalm when you realize what this is. And why I am certain it's a Raw versus Rye.
When you use
I will say.
weakness feature, you can forgo dealing additional damage, which would be the vulnerability, to instead cast a cantrip as a bonus action.
Uh-huh.
I actually feel dumb.
Eve, do you see it? Do you see the Raw versus Rye here, Eve?
Wait a minute. Is that a fucking comma?
It's not a comma this time.
Okay, I literally just zoomed into my screen.
Okay, remind me what part I'm looking at. Sorry, I wasn't.
Eldritch Ruin. We have a Raw versus Rye issue where I am certain Rye is something, but Raw is definitely something else. If you got the answer, text it to me, and I will let you know verbally if you got it correct or wrong. Correct or right.
You can cast a cantrip as a bonus action.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently it sounds like I was on the right track with
Yes. Whatever this is, it prevents you from doing what you suggested, which is Booming Blade and then another Booming Blade.
The only thing I could see is the forgoing the additional damage, but
that's not it.
Wait.
Remember I told you, extra damage isn't a mechanic.
Can you scroll up to the exploit weakness feature?
It's not relevant. It's not relevant. Like, I will save you some trouble. The wording of exploit weakness is not relevant.
Okay.
I know if I'm gonna feel really stupid.
You are. That's why this series is fun. It's funny. This game is funny.
You can forgo dealing additional damage instead of casting. Wait, so this is replace? So we make a weapon attack. Our weapon attack will deal nothing, and then we cast a cantrip as a bonus action.
No, your weapon attack will still deal damage as normal.
So that's not what it is.
Anything that your weapon would do, it would still do. In the case of Booming Blade, that would include the Booming Blade damage, for the record.
I'm trying to think.
Instead, you can cast a cantrip as
Like I said, the issue is funny when you realize what it is.
I don't think I'm gonna realize it.
I'm trying to think.
I'm going to.
I have an idea, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna see what you're doing first.
Hey, if you have an idea, send it to me as a text. If you have an answer, I'm not going to give you a clue.
I'm not 100%. I think
give me the thing you think it is.
Wrong.
That's fine. It's okay to be wrong. If you are wrong, I will tell Ross what you answered. He'll know that isn't it. If you are right, I will just say, yeah, you've got it.
Oh, shit. Exploit weakness. Doing additional damage.
I'm 98% certain that's wrong.
You didn't answer the question. You just literally took words from the thing.
Like I was saying, Hang on.
You're not on the right track. You want to save you that trouble. All right, I'm gonna highlight something. Okay, Ross.
Yeah, highlight
Please,
it. Highlight
I
it.
cannot. Even I can't figure it out.
This is our issue.
Oh
To
yeah.
instead cast
Do you
a
see it
cantrip
now,
as a
Eve? Text me
bonus
if you
action.
do.
Like, yeah.
Text me. Don't take it because I don't want you to give it to Ross if you're right.
I don't see what's wrong in this text.
Again,
It's,
yes.
For
Like I
go-
said, this is Raw versus Rye, which means I think Riot is one way, but Raw is clearly another way.
well, what's the raw interpretation? Because I actually don't think this looks wrong.
No, Eve. It doesn't mean that. That's kind of the problem.
Okay.
The fact that it doesn't mean that is the problem.
Okay.
It should mean that. Rye, they definitely mean for it to mean that. Raw, it doesn't.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant by what I said, but like half it was, half wasn't, because I wasn't sure if that would be what it was.
Kurt. So yeah, so that is the idea. That is my issue, Eve.
Yeah.
Does that help you at all, Ross?
No, you both talked so vague.
That was the point.
Yeah.
What I am saying is, Eve just gave me a text saying, does that mean X happens? And I say, no, the fact that X isn't happening is the problem. It should be happening, but this wording means it isn't.
Yeah.
Instead, cast a cantrip as a bonus action.
Rub the brain cell, Ross.
I don't get it.
Okay, Ross,
I actually don't.
I will help you out here, okay? I'm going to walk you through it, okay?
Okay.
So, cast if something says you can cast a cantrip as a bonus action, what does that mean you're able to do?
Cast a cantrip as a bonus action?
But can you cast any cantrip in that case? The answer for the
Oh.
record is no. That's our issue.
But
Wait,
as interpreted, that is what it means.
It's
if I
not.
comprehend.
No,
or no?
raw. Yeah, well, right. Yeah, right. Rules as
right.
intended.
Yeah,
definitely
rules
wants
as
you to do
intended,
that,
that's what I meant.
But raw, you can't. Yeah, you absolutely cannot.
Yeah.
You cannot cast Eldritch Blast with this. You cannot cast Moving Blade with this.
It
You can
has
only
to be a
cast
bonus
cantrips
action
with the
as-
time of a
raw.
bonus action.
Yeah.
Did I break Ross?
I feel
I
like
think
that's
you
not.
might have.
Here's the thing. I don't see that interpretation because of the specific wording of as a bonus action, not that uses a bonus action.
I see why you're saying that, but you need to be. This is a case of you need to be given permission to be able to do the thing in the first place. Now, most abilities get around this with very, very, really smart wording. Most abilities that want you to do what this wants you to do says you can cast cantrips with a casting time as one action as a bonus action.
Right. But
This doesn't say that.
Right.
Neglecting saying that means it doesn't let you do it. Again, this is raw versus raw.
Which that means.
So just know.
Right. Which I don't think. I think there's only one warlock cantrip that works with this, as it's written, and that is magic stones.
Yes. So you now get the idea. You get what I'm getting at. So to be clear, I am 99.9% sure that's not what they mean.
I hope to God that's not what they meant.
I am certain they mean that it's stuff that has a cast time as an action, cast as a bonus action. So you can do Booming Blade, you can do Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
Because, like, I interpreted it as
how I did, right?
Basically getting a free quicken spell.
Quicken spell. Yeah, no, which is, I want to be clear, though I would have no issue with this.
Right. The fact that it's specifically stuck to cantrips is fine. Absolutely fine.
10th level. Starting 10th level, supernatural creatures can no longer escape protection. You can see creatures and objects that are invisible or on until then you can see the original form or shape change. Additionally, this is just True Sight. Yeah, this is just True Sight.
Yeah, and wait, we just had a subclass where that was our capstone.
You're right! You're actually right, Ross!
What the fuck?
When you use your spite weakness feature against a creature, you can cast the Bestow Curse spell on that creature as a bonus action.
Okay.
See here how they specify that you can cast spells as a bonus action?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Once
did
you
see
use
it.
this feature, you can't use it again until you finish short or long rest. This subclass is okay.
It's okay. I'll say this.
It could have been a lot. It's not enough. It's not what this class needs. I'm gonna be clear.
Right, no.
It's alright.
I will say this.
Mhm.
This has been the best, or I would argue either the best or the better one of the
Quartercaster we've seen.
quartercasters.
Alright, let's keep going. We got Spy.
Last one.
This is the last one?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's not a good sign.
We get proficiency in deception.
Even when you're not telling the
and-
truth, you can gain proficiency in deception, and you can use your intelligence modifier to invade the enemy instead of charisma checks.
God,
For- Trinkets. By third level, you have a collection of trinkets that aid your espionage. You can use the following trinkets. As a bonus action, you can throw dust in the air, become invisible
until the next turn.
until start of your next turn. Blah. As a bonus action, disguise self. As a bonus action, suggestion. You always when you make an attack roll against a creature that's surprised or hasn't taken a turn in combat yet, you can treat your weapon's damage dice as having rolled their maximum value.
Here's the
Right.
thing that would be good. We don't. Here's the thing. This is not a damage dealer. Like at most.
Correct.
At most.
Yep.
This is doing.
Starting at.
Yeah.
I want to keep going with this. Starting at 10th level, your rogue or smile grants you incredible leeway. Whenever you fail a deception check or persuasion check, you can re-roll the check, and you must use this new roll. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish short or long rest. When you reduce a humanoid to 0 hit points, you can use your reaction to assume the creature appears as per the disguise self spell. Hey! You can be the Spire with TF2 with this. As the magic's invisible for 8 hours, you can also use this ability as an action to touch the creature that's been dead for no longer than 24 hours with its appearance and cause it to become invisible as above. Once per day.
Okay, I was reading that and it started. I started getting vibes of this sounds like the Whispers Bard ability, but giving it later.
I'm not going to give this a proof without thought. However, none of these subclasses give this class what it needs to escape the rating itself. So, I am going to tell you my issue with the class as a whole. Are you ready?
Yep.
Do you have your popcorn?
I got some water.
Okay. A few minutes later. Do you have your popcorn now?
Yep.
I don't know why you're saying that while you're popping popcorn. That's weird. Anyways, here's the issue. It's... How do you... It's smurd.
It's what?
Multiple resource dependent.
Ah.
Everything this class has is tied to a resource. Meaning, if you run out, you can't do anything. The exception being a sucky ability that sucks.
Yeah, the main exception is basically just getting access to a lot of rituals, which, again, I've not looked at the whole list. There are some decent spells. Fly is on that list, which I think is very nice to have.
The issue with these ritual spells is, anyone else could still use them. What I mean by this is,
Mic unplugged. Sorry, what'd you say?
Other ritual casters exist.
They do.
Yes.
However, there are some... You gotta keep in mind, this does gain... Fly, not a ritual spell normally.
You're not wrong, but there are ways around it. And also, flight is such a worthless resource, considering you can just give any given... Heck, I made a character. I'm about to start playing a Spores Druid in a server I'm in.
That's a fairy.
They're a fairy, so guess what they can do?
Just fly.
Free. They can just fly.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, for a party that doesn't have the ability to fly,
But again,
I'm sure there's other good spells on that list.
there are. Now, but my issue still stands. what sets this class apart from anything else are a bunch of resources that will drain fast.
Oh,
It doesn't look like it. At
absolutely
first, it does
fast.
not look like your cool arcane surge ability lets you cast spells as an action will drain fast. But then every subclass needs to throw on more stuff that costs that.
Yeah, which again, like I said, I think it was like the second one we looked at.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to have something siphon another resource that you have already, give us a way to either boost
I mean,
the amount.
here is what I will say. I think having something that eats into a resource is fine. I mean,
Right.
a lot of sorcerer subclasses, as an example, get stuff that eat into sorcery points. A lot of monk stuff gets stuff that eats into key points.
Right, but
And bards, bardics. The issue here is that everything does, meaning that once you're out of anything that makes you interesting.
It's also the fact that
Mm-hmm.
at most for this trinkets, because we can only use each trinket, or we can only use a trinket
Once
first
per
get
short
this
rest.
once per short rest, and I think at most, I think it was like at 17th level, you get 4, and I just think that's too little.
Yeah, too little, too late. So, unfortunately, this is it. We're done with classes. So
I'll say this:
let me
At
do
the
some.
very-
Let me just sum everything up.
at the very least, the investigator was interesting.
I
Definitely could have been
suppose.
better.
All right, give me the list. Where's the list? Give me the list. I guess this is the list.
Yeah. So,
Okay, so let's start with Craftsman.
well, there was one before.
Unfortunately,
Scroll.
oh, was there?
Uh,
No, there
oh,
isn't.
wait. Why does it start with Craftsman? Oh wait, is that?
I don't.
Is the other ones on the left?
Oh,
They
yeah,
are.
yep.
Okay. Okay.
Alchemist.
It was okay overall.
I think we determined it was okay.
I can actually.
There were some fun
look,
ideas.
Alchemist.
Captain, I think we ended up liking Captain, but thought the subclasses sucked.
Alchemist was good. Captain approved about thought. It was.
Yeah, I think the subclasses brought it down.
Yeah. Craftsman.
Craftsman,
We liked one of the subclasses. The other ones
but not
were...
enough to redeem. Not enough to redeem the class as a whole.
Yeah. Especially because
Agree with that.
Artificer exists.
Gunslinger, we liked.
Yeah, Gunslinger was I think might be one of our favorites. At least top 3.
Yeah. Investigator,
Meh.
we did not like. Sadly, it was an interesting idea, but it needed the subclasses to pick up the pace where it failed. It did not.
Yep. Martyr.
Martyr, we did not like.
It was sadly the worst. I wanted, again, watch the Martyr video. I wanted to like it so badly.
Oh, here they are. This list right here.
Oh,
The Necromancer we liked.
yeah. Warden.
Warden, I think we ended up liking despite bad subclasses.
Yeah.
War Mage was approved without thought.
Yeah, I know you didn't like it, but I still think it's a neat idea.
Witch we liked.
Yeah, which
So I think that ultimately boils down to a 50% success rate, which isn't too bad when you're trying to throw that many new classes at us.
Oh yeah, no, they were.
We are nowhere near done this book, though we did deal with what I think was going to be the big hole for us. So join us next time when we cover the feats.
Yep.
Or the races. We haven't decided yet.
I mean, we could do both because I don't think it comes with that many races.
Let's start with races then, and we'll see where we stand.
Yeah, we'll see. Where
Join us next time.
Thank you guys for watching, and as always, stay tuned for more. Bye bye.
GG.